Okay, welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. Hopefully you can hear me. I had some serious technical difficulties, and then right when I was about to go live, I got this thing in my throat. I'm sitting here trying to down some water. So I started doing testing. Oh man, I can't even talk. What's happening? It always happens in the last 5 minutes. It's like OBS isn't opening. Oh, I can't toggle this. Hey, something's wrong with my audio. If you guys can hear what I'm saying, put a 5x5 in there. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hear me just fine? Okay, thanks, Great Lakes. John's here. Mark's here. QJ Dubs. Terry. Shoo. Thanks, guys, for being here. Hey, this is an important live stream because several people have said that they're unsubbing me for my coverage of Alex Jones and what I said about Trump and the jumping into the ring of politics with this channel. You know, politics pretty much touches all of our lives, so it's kind of hard not to talk about it. My definition of politics lies in this. It's the clever and deceptive art, and it is an art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people, because we're all pretty much average people, into accepting and even demanding the chains of their own oppression. It is an art of deception. And one of the things that underpins, or the major thing that underpins all politics, is money. And if you control the money, you control the politics. If you control the value of money, you control everything. If you control the issuance of a currency, you control everything. That's why Mayor Amschel Rothschild said, give me control over a nation's money, and I don't care who makes the laws. I don't care who's the congressman, the senator, the presidents, the vice presidents. I don't care who the governors are. I control the issuance and the value of your currency. So if you want to know what the fundamental problem with the world is, specifically America, because that's where I live, you know, if you're tuning in from another country, you know, let me know in the comments. But the thing that controls all the world are those who control the currency. It's controlled in China. It's controlled in Russia. It's controlled in the United States. It's controlled in Australia. Name a place that fiat currency isn't the controlling currency of a nation. And then look historically at what happens to people when they try to break away, especially American petrodollar fiat currency. People get invaded. A lot of people end up dying. A lot of bombs are dropped. A lot of the military industrial complex gets richer. Why is that? Because they have to defend the strength of the US dollar, because it currently is still the world reserve currency. It's failing, and it will eventually fail. And when it does, all bets are off. Things will go dark. Things will go bad very, very quickly. That's why you know, people are like, well, what's the answer, Brian? What's the answer? Well, number one, we got to get our heads out of our arses and realize that there is a truth to be apprehended, and we need to walk in that truth. Still got this thing in my throat. So what we have to do is we have to set ourselves on a course of sound money. If you have an unsound, dishonest money, then the controllers of that money are the ones who control you. How do they control you, Brian? Well, if they can issue the value and the amount of money in the money supply, then they actually control you. How do they control you? They control the value of your labor, because everybody works for money. Money is just a medium of exchange. It's just a, you know, do I have any fiat currency notes? And if you look, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but this is very germane to what we're talking about here. This says right here. See what that says right there? This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. What does it say? This what? This note. Who controls this note? That is look at the top of the bill. That is a Federal Reserve note. Can you see that? Federal Reserve note. This isn't money. It's used as money because it is a medium of exchange, and people recognize this as a $20 bill. Hey, I've got 5 candy bars. You got a $20 bill. I'd rather have your $20 bill. Oh, I'd rather have your candy bars. It's a medium of exchange. It's portable. It fits with money, but it's not actually money. It's a note. It's a note of debt. And the people who own this note of debt are the people who own you, specifically in America. And I know the dollar is traded throughout the world. It is the world's reserve currency. As a matter of fact, up to today, people still in other nations have to transfer their goods or their money. If they want to buy oil, they have to exchange it for these Federal Reserve notes of debt. And that's one of the reasons we haven't experienced hyperinflation, because there's actually a worldwide demand for these. As soon as it comes to the point where there's not a worldwide demand for these, then guess what? We'll have all this supply out there and no demand for it. What does that mean is going to happen to these bills? They're not just inflation, not just Weimar Republic inflation. We're talking about things are going to get bad and they will happen quickly. So who owns our money? The people who own this note, the Federal Reserve. They are the kingmakers. They're the president makers. They don't care who's in the seat at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They don't care what policies he puts in place. They actually are the beneficiaries of many of the policies he or she is going to put in place. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton. It doesn't matter if it's Ronald Reagan. It doesn't matter if it's George Bush or Barack Obama or Joe Biden or Donald Trump. They own the White House. They own Congress. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. They make no bones about it. Just look at that interview from Alan Greenspan. The question was, what should the relationship, thanks Mark for that super chat. I will read all super chats at the end of this. I just don't want to break the chain of thought here. And I am going to read some comments that were left under the last video. I'm not butthurt that people want to leave. I want to know why people want to leave. Alan Greenspan was interviewed and the question was asked, what should the relationship between a president of the United States and a Federal Reserve chairman be? Alan Greenspan sat there and literally said, and I put this on video after video on many of my channels, as long as, and this I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically saying, as long as the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch don't cross us and don't, try to undo what we've done, hey, everything's cool. Because we are the masters. We're the money masters. We're in the driver's seat. I actually should have brought that up. I should have put that. I want to do the exact quote, but that is basically what he said. We control the executive branch. That's the president. We control the judiciary. That's the Supreme Court. We control the legislative branch. That's Congress. We control, as long as what we say goes, we got no problem. But somebody starts crossing us, we got a major problem. Who's in control when they say that? And as far as it all being a WWE dog and pony show, how can it not be when the men behind the curtain are telling you they're in control? And then we get to these points of national debt. People are like, you're being mean about Trump. You're attacking him. Let me just ask you something. How does one attack another person simply by telling the truth about what that person says or does? This isn't about ego. You could, Brian's so narcissistic and egotistical. He thinks he can sit there in that chair and start attacking Alex Jones and Donald Trump. If I said anything in that last video that was not in accordance with truth, not in accordance with or support of liberty and freedoms for Americans, if I'm the kind of person you would not want as a neighbor, then just be specific and state it. What did I say that was wrong? What did I say that did not line up with the truth? I've got this chart right here. Biden's already plunged us into $1.84 trillion worth of debt. But look at Donald Trump. And guys, I want to tell you, I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I removed myself in 2012 from the left versus right dog and pony show when I became a delegate for Ron Paul in 2012 at our state convention. We were at all the delegates were at the state convention in Norman, Oklahoma in 2012, supporting Ron Paul. I saw that Ron Paul absolutely, positively, 100% beat Mitt Romney in our state election. And they gave it to Mitt Romney anyway. And I have video that was up on the internet till my channels got taken down and this hard drive got corrupted and this whole thing. But I have video evidence of everybody supporting Ron Paul was wrapped outside around the building. And you go to the Mitt Romney table, literally there were 2 people there. I'm not exaggerating, 2 people, and they were both Mitt Romney workers. Here's how corrupt it was. And I have all this on video too. They called us the parking lot patriots because they removed us from the election hall in Norman, Oklahoma, and told us we need to get outside, and we did, and we conducted our convention outside. It was called a rump convention. But Governor Mary Fallin was there at that time, and when the Ron Paul people tried to speak, they shut off our mics. They turned off the lights on our side of the room. There was this huge curtain in the convention hall in Norman, Oklahoma. They drew the curtain and they did the convention by themselves. And they literally gave Mitt Romney the state of Oklahoma. And I thought at that point, I was like, in the face of something so obvious that Ron Paul blistered. I mean, it's like Mitt Romney might as well not even shown up. That's how bad the fight was. Ron Paul won. I realized at that moment, this is rigged. This is rigged. They only want the guy in there that they want to run against Obama of that year. That they just want one guy in there. That's it. They don't want this guy. And the reason they don't want this guy is pretty obvious. It was interesting what they did with Ron Paul, even to the extent where Jon Stewart, who's decidedly a leftist, had to report on how crazy they were treating Ron Paul in Fake Stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. They would pretend like, oh, we got to go to a commercial break. We can't hear the rest of this right here. They were interviewing a guy who was in the military, and all of a sudden, oh, sorry, we're having technical difficulties. We can't have that guy saying anything positive about Ron Paul, because the guy was literally in the process of saying, yeah, Ron Paul predominantly has the support of military men. Because why? What was Ron Paul's foreign policy? We don't need to be entangled in foreign wars, and we don't need to be occupying foreign lands. We need to bring everybody home. So I know firsthand that it's fixed. You know firsthand it's fixed. All you got to do is turn on your TV and look at the debates, the Republican debate and the Democrat debate. They'll always talk about the same thing, and they will never address the root cause of the issue. They will never tackle it and address it in any substantive way. So when I'm talking about Donald Trump or Barack Obama, I'm talking about it from a person who does not have a dog in the fight. But let's look at the facts. It took Barack Obama to accumulate $8.34 trillion in debt. It took him 8 years. It only took Donald Trump 4 years to accumulate $8.2 trillion in debt. From the national debt perspective, who was a worse president? Donald Trump. Am I saying Barack Obama was a good president, that he cared about individual liberties, that he wanted to ensure that the American dollar and everything that you work for was absolutely strengthened? No, I'm not saying that at all. But if you look at this right here, Donald Trump was on track to plunge us into $16.4 trillion, and it would have exponentiated, I guarantee you. He was on track to set us on a record of almost $20 trillion in debt in 8 years, in 2 terms. That is not a good man. Anybody who's going to increase the national debt says, I don't give a damn about your time. I don't give a damn about your labor. You're going to have to go work harder. You're going to have to get a third job. You're going to have to take a second mortgage. You're not going to be able to pay for food. And people are all, well, yeah, but look at gas prices under Biden. They're way higher than under Trump. You know, all this stuff has a delayed effect. You can do this thing for 4 years, and it might take 1 or 2 years after you leave presidency to have to actually take an effect. And I don't even blame gas prices on presidents anyway. Gas prices are solely laid at the feet of the people who control the value and issuance of your currency. So when I'm coming at Donald Trump, I would come at him like I would come at a neighbor who is coming at you with a baseball bat. They mean to do you harm, and my job is to take them down. It's not time for me to be diplomatic and talking. Hey, as you're in the process of swinging that baseball bat at my neighbor's head, can we talk about things? No, it ain't time to talk. It's time to tackle. It's time to take him out. It's time to take him down. It's time to take the bat away from him and pin him to the ground. And we are at the 11th hour. And that's why I'm coming at the Alex Jones of the world and the Donald Trumps of the world and the Barack Obamas of the world and the Joe Bidens of the world. Presidents are merely puppets, guys. And if you doubt that, let me just show you something. If you doubt that presidents are primarily puppets, let me read to you what a former president, Woodrow Wilson, said in a book called New America in 1914, which incidentally came out after the Federal Reserve set up shop in 1913. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson, for bringing that into fruition. Look what he said. Since I've entered politics, I have chiefly had men's views confided to me privately. Some of the biggest men in the United States in the field of commerce and manufacture are afraid of somebody, are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it. What the heck was Woodrow Wilson talking about? He was talking about the money masters. You got people in the field of finance and commerce and manufacture that are scared of somebody. They're afraid of something. They're afraid of this power that's so organized, so subtle, so all pervasive and interlocked and has such a control on everything that they don't even want to speak above their breath when they speak. They know it's wrong, but they're not going to talk about it because they don't want to get bashed by the people who are really in control. You really think your vote matters? What did Stalin say? I don't care who the people vote for. Every vote is a vote for us. And that's true. You tell me how many things have changed. Well, my gas prices, it fluctuates all the time on the whim of the Federal Reserve. They don't even have to print money anymore in the printing presses with this digital age. They just put zeros and ones in people's bank accounts, and the people at the top will always benefit while the people at the bottom, that's you and me, because it's a big club and we ain't in it. We're the ones who suffer. We're the ones who have to work harder. We're the ones whose dollars, you have to use more and more of them to pay for gas and to pay for groceries. I don't know about you, but food is wildly expensive. It's ridiculous. So this is a quote of a president of the United States who basically said, I wasn't even in control. And one of the social engineers that you really need to be made aware of, if you're not already, because this guy and the things that he has done underpins pretty much everything that him and his henchmen underpins the mentality that we pretty much see every day. This is Edward Bernays, who's the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was his uncle. He said, if we understand the mechanisms and motives of the group mind, and that's what we're talking about. We are talking about the group mind. We are talking about the cult of personality. People really want to believe that Donald Trump is a savior. And I'll show you, people have written that in my last video in the comment section. They really want to view Donald Trump as the savior. He's the knight in shining armor, arriving just in the nick of time on a white horse to scoop us up and cradle us into his arms and give us everything that we want and protect us from the deep state. He's playing 5D chess. You got to understand, man. That's the group mind. It's the simple mind. It's the mind that has abandoned critical thinking. What can I say? Does that make me narcissistic and egotistical? Does that make me, you're on the attack? I love Alex Jones. Alex Jones seems like a nice guy, but he's not doing nice things. He's being a hypocrite. One of the worst things you can be as a human being in this world is being a hypocrite, saying one thing and doing the other. Did I ever say that he doesn't call Donald Trump out? He absolutely calls Donald Trump out, and then he turns around and continues to support him. And I don't think that Alex Jones is a stupid person. I don't think that Donald Trump is a stupid person. Joe Biden, yeah, well, there's a case to be made that he's not exactly got all of his marbles up there. Obama, I don't think these people are stupid. But they are being used as puppets, and there is money involved and power. They want notoriety. They want to be at the top of the heap. Edward Bernays says, if we understand the mechanisms and motives of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will, without their knowing it in almost every act of our daily lives. Let me just say this. If you know anything about Edward Bernays, he was hired by the tobacco company in the early 1900s. I think it was the 1930s, 1920s or 30s. And he was assigned the task of getting women to smoke cigarettes. And you can go to YouTube. There's a very interesting interview of how he said this happened. The tobacco company paid him $125. And then he went to the drawing board and he tried to figure out how in the world can we get women to start smoking cigarettes. And then he had it. I know exactly what I'll do. I'll tell women that they're being oppressed by men, and that in order for them to alleviate their oppression, they will light up. It wasn't called, I think it was something to the effect of torches of freedom, torches of liberty, or something like that. In other words, we're going to light up cigarettes to symbolize torches of liberty or torches of freedom to combat man's oppression of women. And he told a couple debutantes, this is before the internet, guys. The notable debutantes in cities all across America told other people. And before you know it, it was a very short period of time, there were a bunch of people, a bunch of women taking to the streets in cities all across America, lighting torches of freedom and symbolic unity against man's oppression of women. And that is tapping into the group mind. He got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of women to start smoking cigarettes because he said, hey, you got an oppressor. And here's how you can act out against the oppressor. And you will have the power, and you will have the control, and you will have the authority, and you'll be in the driver's seat. Yes. And you will gain your freedom and your liberty. What does that sound like? If you vote for this guy, you'll gain liberty and freedom, and your gas prices will be less, and you'll be able to stretch your dollar so you can feed your family and put a roof over their heads. It's exactly that. So you tap into and the Democrats don't want you to have it. Well, by golly, I'm going to be a Republican. I'm voting for Trump, man. He's going to change everything. He's going to the savior of the world. And there's always this antagonist protagonist thing. It's always there because it works. It works for the WWE. It works for mainstream media. It works for corporate oligarchies. It works for the government. You tell somebody that they're being attacked or somebody's there to oppress you, and you're going to get a whole bunch of people. I'll be damned if I'm going to be oppressed. Let's do it. What do we do? Oh, and then they'll tell you what to do, and then you do it. Thinking that you're going against something when actually you're playing right into the social engineer's hands. And he engineered it. He designed all of it to happen. Every bit of it. And that's what Edward Bernays is saying. He says, in almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or our ethical thinking, we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind. So when you go out there to vote, you're doing what they want you to do. You're the happy slaves on the plantation putting your little slip of paper in the slave suggestion box, and it changes nothing because at the end of the day, whether your guy wins or your guy loses, you're still on the plantation, but you thought you had control over your destiny, didn't you? That's what this is all about. It's all a stage show. It's literally give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Never. They won't. They might object to certain things, but they're going to stay on the plantation exactly where you want them, exactly where the masters want you. Edward Bernays further said, the conscious and intelligent manipulations of the organized habits and opinions of the masses. Let me just read that again. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses. You don't think your habits are somewhat controlled by the things that you allow into your eye gate and into your ear gates? Why is it so easy? Why does everybody gravitate toward Hollywood? Why at the end of the day, when people are so tired and they got home from their second job, they just want to veg out on the TV and listen to what fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media says? And everybody's like, you always say the CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird. What are you talking about there? Remember the 1970s, they had something, Senator Frank Church had something that was called the Church Committee. And they got the CIA before a hearing, and the CIA actually admitted that they infiltrated at that time. This is the 1970s, 74, 75, something like that. The CIA admitted, and later they started saying too much and like, well, I think this needs to be hashed out in an executive session. In other words, away from public eye, away from the cameras. But before they went away from the public eye and before they went away from the cameras, they admitted that they had successfully infiltrated all of print and televised media back in the 1970s. The CIA infiltrated. That's why I call it CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra. Operation Mockingbird, just look it up. MK Ultra, look it up. It's all to control your mind and your thoughts and your organized habits and your opinions. It's an important element in a democratic society. And what is Democrat? What is the democratic society? I thought we were a republic. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible in liberty and justice for all. It's not into the Democrats or to the democratic. It's to the republic for which it stands. Not that there's any kind of difference, because there's always going to be oligarchs at the top calling the shots, telling you what you can or can't do, and really dehumanizing, demoralizing you through the voting process. And that's what the voting process is. You know, if you talk to people who voted for their guy and you say, yeah, but what about Biden want to take away AR-15s from gun owners who've never committed a crime? Yeah, I'm not on board with that. But for the most part, I like what Joe Biden does. And then you say, well, what about this? What about this? And they say, I kind of didn't have a choice. I'm a Democrat. My mom and dad raised me as a Democrat. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. I didn't have a choice. I chose the lesser of two evils. Republicans say the same thing. They say, yeah, I know. I don't like, there's a lot of policies I don't like, but man, he's the best we got. I mean, do you have any other suggestions? I chose the lesser of two evils. In choosing the lesser of two evils, guess what? You've been reduced by the money manipulators and the psychological operators and the social engineers to choose evil. You chose evil. But yeah, but it's the lesser of two evils. It's just the lesser. Yeah, but you chose evil. That's how they've demeaned us. That you think voting is going to work is laughable in the first place, but it does show the psychological operators and the social engineers one thing, because they are data mining us. Oh, it's still working. They're still willing to choose evil. Can you even believe that? I mean, how many times has this guy lied and flip-flopped on air and they're still going to choose him? Look, he even said he'll stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot, and people still voted for him. Look, he's going to create red flag laws, extreme risk protection orders, take away wipe away this. He's going to sit next to Dianne Feinstein and say, I like take the guns first, due process second, and they're still going to vote for him. He's going to spearhead Operation Warp Speed and call himself the father of the VAXX, and they're still going to vote for him. Why should we change the recipe? They keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It never comes, and they continue to stay on the plantation. These guys are rubbing. They make so much money off of our ignorance. And those two who desire to be ignorant and free, you know what? It's true. They desire what never was and what never shall be. Freedom ain't coming to you as long as you continue voting for slavery. And that's why I say voting and the political process and politics itself is lies. It's all lies. It's deception. It's the art of using euphemisms, lies, deception, emotionalism, and fear mongering in order to dupe average people into accepting and even demanding, we want Trump. You go out and march for a man. You wear 45 on your hat and your shirt. You got his name on your back. You're a man and you have a man's name on your back. Trump, Trump, Trump. That's how out of touch we are. We all know who controls the world. We all know it. And you're still going to vote for their henchmen, for their puppets? Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government. Oh, that must be the deep state, which is the true ruling power of our country. You see how bad government is. You see how bad cops are. You know, back the blue till it happens to you. You see how bad. Oh, stay tuned. Wait till you see something about Trump that I did not know until yesterday. Thank you, DirectD. Hats off to DirectD for bringing this to my attention in his comment section, his community page on his channel. People think that they're going to change the world by voting for the lesser of two evils. Ain't going to happen. They know it's not going to happen. We should know it's going to happen. People are saying, "What? Then how do we change?" We've got to demand an honest money system. The only way we can fund an IRS or the FBI or the CIA or our foreign policy giving $100 billion to Ukraine and $14.2 billion to Israel, HE double hockey sticks. The only way we can fund that is the money masters control the issuance and the value of the currency. If we had sound money, we would have to work within our means like any family does. If you have a family budget, you cannot, if you only bring in $3,500 a month, you cannot spend $3,600 a month. You cannot go to $4,200 a month. Well, you could, but you're going to be in debt and pretty soon you're going to lose it all. If you operated your family like the government runs the government, what do you think would happen? They would come to repo your car. They'd foreclose on your house. You would have nothing. They would take everything from you. So we need to have a sound money system. We need to create a parallel economy that has nothing to do with any kind of government regulations or intrusion or intervention or anything. There's nothing wrong with having leaders in a land. What you don't want is rulers. I don't want a ruler for me, and I would never demand a ruler for you. That's another thing about voting is basically you're saying, I don't care if you like my guy or not. I am gonna vote for this guy, and my guy is probably gonna force policies on you that you don't want. What does that say about you? What does voting say about you? Seriously, what does it say about you? I got pigeonholed. No, you chose to vote. You chose to get in line. You chose to spend your resources. You chose to give your time and your attention and your money to that dude that is controlled by the central banking cartel. Bernays says, we're governed. Our minds are molded. Our tastes form. Our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. And it's all about deception and duplicity. Henry Ford said, it's well enough that the people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. So let me show you what DirectD brought to my attention yesterday. Last night, I'm scrolling on my phone. I got an alert from DirectD. This was after I released my video about Alex Jones, and it was so appropriate that I wanted to mention it today. Let's see. Where is this? DirectD says, this one's for all you clowns who think that Trump or any president is your political savior. I'm not going to call you a clown. Okay. We're all on a journey, and we're all on different points in our journey. And every one of us has a lot of growing to do. Hopefully we can look back on our lives and go, wow, I've done a lot of growing, and look forward and go, I've got a lot of growing to do. I'm not perfect by any means. And this isn't about perfection, but this is about calling out evil. He says, this one's for all you clowns who think Trump or any president is your political savior. You are sheep grazing on the grass of ignorance grown by your masters of the political theater. You can't improve on that, in my opinion. You're sheep grazing on the grass of ignorance grown by your masters of the political theater. Let me know when 95% of you wake the F up. And then he has this article by Newsmax, which I've pulled up and did not know before I released that video yesterday. This is another burr in my saddle with regards to Trump and showing you that he absolutely hates your guts. Do you think cops care about you when they arrive to do a welfare check and at the end you're worse off if you're even alive? You know what Trump's view of law enforcement is. He approved and sanctioned and threw his support behind civil asset forfeiture. You know what civil asset forfeiture is? You can be driving down the road, not convicted of any kind of crime. They could take your car and take every dollar bill in your wallet because they believe that you might be using this to, promote the drug cartel. That's civil asset forfeiture. Trump is for civil asset forfeiture. He is for law enforcement. Look what he says. Trump going to indemnify policemen and law enforcement. Indemnify simply means to hold them guiltless. They will not be guilty. They will not be under my regime. They will not be guilty of any crime. Are you really for Donald? We're going to read some comments where people are like, no, I think Trump's a great guy. I don't agree with everything that he says. That's another thing about voting. Oh, I like this guy and I want him to become president. Now, I don't agree with everything he says. Do you realize the left says that too? The right and the left said that's exactly what they said about Obama. Well, I don't like everything about him. So how bad does it have to get before you realize, hey, not only should this guy not be a president, he should be in jail. Yeah, Trump should be in jail, but then so should Biden. But then so should Obama. But then so should the Bushes and Reagan. Why? Because they thought they could cross the line and take away your freedoms. I like what Reagan said. Don't get me wrong. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And he was from the government and he was there to help himself to your stuff. He's the one who initiated the very first semi-automatic weapons ban in California in 1967. Look it up. Mr. Republican, anti-Second Amendment. He needs to be called out. Speaking to one of the most crime-ravaged cities in President Joe Biden's America, this, of course, is Newsmax, who's decidedly biased in their reporting. Former President Donald Trump is vowing, and that's not me saying this, they're biased toward the right. I'm against the left versus right paradigm lie because it blinds people and it takes away their ability to critically think. Former President Donald Trump is vowing a new law and order presidential campaign platform that will protect police from legal liability. So he's going to strengthen qualified immunity. They already got qualified immunity. They already got Terry v. Ohio. They already got Pennsylvania v. Mims. They already got all the Supreme Court cases that say, hey, officer safety trumps individual rights. And here's Trump saying, it's going to get worse when I become president. You put a 1 in the room if you're still for Trump, knowing this right here. I'll give you a list of things that if there was only one of them that was true, he should not only not be a president, he should be in jail. But put a 1 in the room if you're for Trump giving complete legal immunity to cops if he becomes president. And this is he keeps it general, man. It's scary general. It's like, what's the context of this? You mean an Amber Geiger could literally get away with murder and Trump's going to support them? Are you serious? I forgot what I asked. So what is a 1 means you're still going to support Trump? A 2 means 1 means you're going to support Trump. 2 means you're not going to support Trump. Even in the face of this, we got nothing better, Brian. We got to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. I know I'm not going to score any brownie points today. But you know what? It's about getting the truth. It's about speaking the truth. Here's Trump. Quote, we are going to do something that I will say is slightly controversial, but it should be. We are going to indemnify policemen and precincts. I just keep thinking about New York, all these precincts in New York, and states and cities from being sued. Trump told the New York Young Republicans Club Gala in a speech Saturday night, we want them to do their job. Oh, do we? Oh, do we? You mean the job that they did on Daniel Shaver? You mean the job they did on Philando Castile? You mean the job that they did on James Boyd or Eric Garner? You mean that kind of job? You mean the job they did on Schaefer Cox? A guy who literally did nothing wrong, and they framed him, and now he's in a CMU, which is a communication management unit, which is for the worst of the worst in Terre Haute, Indiana. Trump has long railed against the defunding the police movement and Marxist attacks on law enforcement, but there's that left versus right thing. It's like, oh, if you're against cops, you must be BLM. You must be a Marxist. No, I'm anti-Marxist. I'm anti-BLM. I'm pro-black. I'm pro-white. I'm anti-bad police. But he is vowing to take his law and order platform to a new level, protecting police from lawsuits to protect American citizens. If you're going to protect police from lawsuits, you are not protecting Americans. You have actually thrown all of America under the bus. We know how bad it is. Here, let me just give you one statistic that I gave in my last live stream. In America, every year, over 41 million speeding tickets are written annually. That's from local law enforcement. That's from sheriff's department. That's from state troopers. That's just speeding tickets, 41 million annually. The average speeding ticket is $152. Then if it's 41 million annually, that's over 112,000 tickets are written a day. That means they rake in over $6.2 billion a year. The state does. That's all states in the union. $6.2 billion every single year just on speeding tickets. That's over $11,796 generated by the state every minute of every day in America. Tell me about land of the free, home of the brave again. That is definitely land of the free and home of the frickin' slave who won't stand up and say anything. I'm still going to vote for Trump, even though he's going to increase the already qualified immunity of qualified immunity. Our police and law enforcement has to come back, and they want to come back, and they want to do their job, Trump continued, and we're going to indemnify them so they don't lose their wife, their family, their pensions, and their jobs. God, I can't even believe he said that. I can't believe some of you are still going to vote for him after he said, you're getting involved in politics. I'm unsubbing your channel. Well, I'd rather you not, but go ahead, I guess. I mean, like, what are you standing on here in life? What are you doing with your life? We are going to indemnify policemen and law enforcement, and we're going to tell them to get out. And we're going to tell them to get out. We love you. Do your job. Oh, get out and do your job. Get out. We love you. Do your job. I wish I had a boot. This is not licking. This is not kissing the boot. This is Michael Picard. It's deep throat, the boot. The rise in crime. Which crime? Like law enforcement initiated crime? How about that crime? I saw this video from NorCal Cop Watch gave me this video. He is clearly standing, I don't know, 20 feet, maybe even more from a traffic stop while he's just standing there exercising his right to record in public. And the cops throw him in jail for this. They arrest him and throw him in jail. No, you got to get away from I am away from your traffic stop. And then they lie about it on their body cam saying, oh, he's as close as me and you right here. That is a crime. That is a rise in crime. That's just one example, guys. What about Chase Allen? Don't you think he deserved to live? What did they kill him over? Oh, because he didn't have registration and a license? Oh, great thing to snuff somebody's life out for. We haven't even scratched. Poor Daniel Shaver shaking in his boxer shorts in the hallway of that La Quinta Inn in Mesa, Arizona, when Philip Brailsford just thought it was a good idea to just get rid of him, like you would get rid of a rabid rat. And then he gets acquitted. Philip Brailsford from the Mesa Police Department gets acquitted. What about Matthew Schneider? What do you think about what he did? Hey, Trump, what do you think about what he did to Johnny Wheatcroft? Well, he shouldn't have been sitting there in the parking lot. He should have put a insurance. Well, Matthew Schneider lied about everything. Tased the guy 11 times, 2 times in the private parts in front of his screaming kids. That is a crime on America that Trump wants to see perpetuated because, hey, If you got a president of the United States in office right now that says, I'm going to indemnify, they won't be able to sue your city. They won't be able to sue your county. They won't be able to sue your state. Whether this goes through or not, this is in Trump's heart. He wants to protect the thin blue line gang. And he wants to throw you out of the bus and under the bus in the process. The rise in crime is one of President Joe Biden administration's biggest shortcomings, Trump told attendees. We are going to do a job that nobody's been able to do, and we're going to bring law and order back. Well, we know what that means for him. The Biden administration and criminal justice warriors in the Democrat Party have, quote, released murderers, rapists, and gang members, savages all, on innocent people that walk the streets of our city. That's what happens when anytime the thin blue line breaks a meeting and all goes out to fan the city. You're releasing murderers, rapists, gang members, and savages on innocent people who walk the streets of our city every single day. They want Americans to be weak and poor, confused, divided, and afraid. Why they want that, I don't know. It's the only thing I can't figure out. If you put me back in the White House, however, their reign will be over. America will be a free nation once again. And the context is, indemnify, indemnify, indemnify. Law enforcement will not be held guilty for any of the crimes they commit, and you won't be able to sue them. That's what Trump wants. That's the guy that people are supporting and in the corner of. So with some of the rest of our time here, anybody got any questions? I mean, who's your option? Trump or Biden? See, the FJ Mike says, who's your option, Trump or Biden? See, that's the false dilemma they want you to be in. You only got Trump or you only got Biden. How about we don't vote for evil at all? Look, society's going to fall apart. Do you want it to fall apart with your vote? Evil is going to come up on the horizon. Do you want it to happen with your vote? Because you're actually bringing evil on, and it's with your consent. When you vote for a psychopathic political parasite, you are consenting to any kind of evil he's going to bring. But I don't support that. You're supporting that person. And you're making it worse for yourself because you're saying, I'm supporting that person that I know is doing evil things, but I don't support the evil things that he's doing. It's such insanity to me. Who's your option? The option is do what is right. Stand for what is right. Be a principled human being. If society crumbles around you, don't let it be because you consented to it. What do people not understand about this? All right, so let's go. So, this person says, just dumped you. Sorry. I replied to him and said, can you give a reason before you let the door hit you in the butt? And you just lost a faithful subscriber. And this is in the context of holding Alex Jones and Donald Trump's feet to the fire. Let me just remind you, Donald Trump was for and still is for red flag laws. He still is for, I like take the guns first, due process second. He still abandoned Edward Snowden and Julian Assange, even though during his entire campaign in the run-up to the 2016 election, he couldn't do anything but say great things, glowing things about WikiLeaks. And then when he became president, they asked him, WikiLeaks? I don't know about WikiLeaks. What are you talking about? You freaking liar. You know who Julian Assange is. You're not a stupid person. You know what he's up against, and you know you could have used your presidential power to bring some good into being. How about this one? Trump abandoned every single one of the January 6th prisoners while he pardoned his buddies, Roger Stone and all those other just evil people, basically. He sunk the nation in $8.3 trillion worth of debt, not counting the $6.2 trillion he wrote. I never signed anything with a T on it before. Giving the pen to Steve Mnuchin as if to say to Americans, who cares? I got a banker puppet running the show over there at the Treasury Department. I'm going to give him one of the pens as I sign your dollars away. Called himself the father of the VA XX, initiated Operation Warp Speed, and is a firm believer and backer in civil asset forfeiture and the drug law, the drug war, which is not a war on drugs. It's a war on people. So I lost a faithful subscriber. I can't believe you're a faithful subscriber. I've been talking about this about Trump and Alex Jones for a long time. Alex Jones is not on your side. Trump is not on your side. I don't know what to say. Does Trump say some right things? Does Alex Jones say some right things? Yeah, but so did Obama. Obama said some right things. So using that same argumentation, I should be a supporter of Obama. You support Trump. Yeah, he says a few bad things, but I still support him. I don't agree with everything he says. Well, then you can use that. That's what the Democrats use to support Obama. Yeah, there's a couple things that I don't agree with, but I still support him. And you rightly point out, Obama wants to take your guns. Obama's in the back pocket of the Federal Reserve. Oh, guess what? That same thing applies to Donald Trump. What did he institute? Bump stock bans. What's a ban on? You might think, I've never seen a bump stock. I didn't even know bump stocks existed until there was that bump stock ban. So it didn't affect me. Guess what? Yes, it did. Because Trump actually told you, I am willing to criminalize somebody who has this piece of plastic, tens of thousands of people. I'm willing to criminalize them and sick the FBI on them. Anything that ever gets banned, what they really should be saying is, I'm going to criminalize the innocent person who owns this, fill in the blank. I'm going to criminalize the person who owns this bump stock. I'm going to criminalize the person who owns this AR-15 or this AK-47 or this high capacity magazine. And when you say you're criminalizing them, you're basically saying, I'm going to bring agents of the state with guns on your head if we find out that you had something that was banned. And we're going to fine you and ruin your life and throw you into prison. Anybody who bans anything is your enemy. I don't care if it looked like it was a good thing to ban, because if they're going to ban that and criminalize the people who have that in their possession, they'll ban anything and treat you any way they want to. And that should be something that everybody should know. This guy says Trump is our only hope. There you go. Bravo, Edward Bernays. Bravo. You did a fantastic job being a social engineer. You did a fantastic job wiring the public psyche and this mechanism that motivates the group mind. Well done, Edward Bernays, for controlling the regimented masses according to your will. That says it all right there. That is a controlled individual right there. And Anthony, you could leave me, or you offended me. You said you are controlled. And to some extent, I'm controlled. You're controlled. We all have some strand of cognitive dissonance cobwebs lingering in our brains. We all have to admit that. We've all been propagandized. And there's still things that we believe that aren't true. But what's life but a journey of unearthing the truth and getting away from the fallacy? That's why it is a wondrous and beautiful and responsible thing to raise a child. Keep them away from Disney. Keep them away from Hollyweird. Keep them, don't tell them what to think. Show them what's out there and give them the tools to critically think. Don't, secure them. Guard their eye gates, guard their ear gates, guard their minds. You be the one to feed them the good things that they need to navigate in the world. Show them how to conduct themselves socially. Show them how to operate in the world. Show them, more importantly, how to stand on principle when everybody else abandons it. It's a beautiful thing. There's one thing, I don't know if you guys listened to the live stream. It was a live chat. It's called the Spaces. It's called on X. It's called Spaces. It's where a whole bunch of people can get together and talk. Well, they hosted something with Elon Musk, Andrew Tate, Alex Jones. There was a bunch of heavy hitters who were in the big club. But one of the things that they said is and I agree with Elon Musk on this, is one of the best things that you can do for the world is have children and teach them right from wrong. And teach them to abandon the wrong and stand for the right no matter what. And you're going to change the world. Probably one of the best ways to change the world is have kids that you're going to basically nurture and foster in with a principled mindset. Not believing everything. Oh, look at this religion. Follow this religion. Follow that religion. Look at this holy book. They said it's from God, so it must be from God. No, tell your child, okay, look at this, examine it, and you come to your own conclusion. Are they telling you to do something that harms other people? Are they saying that it's a good thing to harm other people, to steal their stuff, to control others who don't want to be controlled, to violate the will? Then you know that's wrong. Give them all the tools that they need to succeed. And by succeed, I mean succeed in doing right. So I'm not against you, Anthony, but man, you've got to change your mindset, man. You have been propagandized. If you think any political parasite is going to be your only hope, is going to be your savior, there's some deep issues there. This person says, if we're being honest, Jones has been very critical of Trump since this happened and openly said he made a mistake supporting him to the degree that he did. It sounds to me that Alex realized he got caught up in the hype and has since been trying to distance himself. Is it pandering to public opinion? Possibly, but I like that he can recognize and admit when he's been wrong. Alex Jones is absolutely, positively a hypocrite. Yes, I never said he wasn't critical of Trump. He's very critical of Trump, and guess what? He still supports Trump. You know the big thing that Alex Jones has against Donald Trump? It's about the VAXX. But he still supports him, and that makes Alex Jones even worse. You've seen all the things AJ says about the VAXX and the clot, SHOT. You've seen it, and he still supports the guy who calls himself the father of the VAXX. It's mind-blowing to me. This person says Alex calls out Trump all the time on his show, literally daily, and says he's not the perfect candidate. His main problem with Trump is obviously the VAXXs, and he still supports him. That's hypocrisy, guys. You should be calling this guy out, going, you know what? He should be getting on there with his Alex Jones voice like he used to. Don't get involved in the left versus right paradigm lie. It's just, it'll lead you down a bad road. And then what does he do? He gets involved in the left versus right paradigm lie all the way in for the GOP, all the way in for the Republicans, as he criticizes the GOP and Republicans. He's all in. He is one of the major purveyors and popular voices of the left versus right paradigm lie, where he used to not be. He completely changed. He used to say the right things. The things that he applies to Obama, you can absolutely mirror and apply to Trump. And yet he still supports Trump but wouldn't support Obama. That's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy to the nth degree. Alex is a true American hero. True American heroes don't throw Americans under the bus by telling them to demoralize and dehumanize themselves by getting involved in the voting process. That's not a hero. Not a hero. Alex Jones gets all the credit for waking me up many years ago. Plus, he has got some of the greatest supplements. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, because there is, like I said in the last video, there's a lot of truth and a lot of stories that were broken by Alex Jones that absolutely would not be brought out by Mockingbird Media. I don't take any of that away from him. He has polluted the well, though. It's like going to a well of pure water, or somebody giving you a jug or a glass of pure water and saying, here's some pure water. And you're like, oh man, this is great. That's great. And for years, the guy dispenses pure water. Oh man, this is so good. And then one day he starts packaging his water with just a couple drops of arsenic. You can't even tell. It's still clear. It still looks like water. It still smells like water, tastes like water. You can't even detect that the arsenic is there. But when you drink it, oh man, I don't feel so good. I kind of feel sick. And then all of a sudden, people start dropping dead. And the guy who once distributed the clear water is now polluting the water. But you don't know it. He's still got the same followers. But now their minds are polluted. And now they're doing and I'm not saying that Alex Jones' voice should be silent. Don't get me wrong on that. I hate censorship. I would never even censor my worst enemy. There have been some people who've said some bad, disgusting things on my channel, in the comments under my channel. Never have I deleted one. You know who's doing the deleting? That's the YT platform. But do you want pure water or do you want diluted? Well, no glass of water is perfect. but it can be perfectly free from arsenic. Yeah, it's not, this isn't I filtered this water, but it's still not perfect, but it's free from fluoride. It's free from chlorine. It's free from arsenic. Yeah, it's still not perfect. This nobody's perfect is a stupid argument, man. If you can use nobody's perfect for Donald Trump, then why can't the Democrats use nobody's perfect for Bill Clinton? If you're going to use that standard, then you better stick to that standard when somebody uses the exact same argument about a person you don't like. You just happen not to be in his cult of personality, and thus the left versus right paradigm lie gets us at each other's throat, fighting among us, while the banksters are just, oh man, I can't believe it's still working after centuries. It's still working. Oh yes. Jones gets all the credit. Maybe he did wake you up, but now it's time for you to really wake up to what Alex Jones is about. I have listened to Alex Jones call out Trump on his show on certain issues at least twice. I know he genuinely believes in Trump, and I think Trump lied to him personally about that. I also think if you knew that was Trump's view, he would change his mind. Alex Jones is not stupid. Donald Trump is not stupid. They really don't have an excuse. Nobody's perfect, says Terry. But I will stand with Trump for one main reason. He had gas prices down, which made it easier to put food on my table. Guess who else had things running smooth and things affordable and an economy that was booming and a military industrial complex that was just going balls to the walls, man. Guess who also presented himself as the champion of his country and nobody's going to take this country down ever again. We are going to have self-determination and we're going to turn things around. The guy with the funny mustache. A Hittlemonger. I can't say it on this channel. Yep. He turned things around. You could put food on your table under his regime. Does that mean standing for him is the right thing? No, I'm not on food stamps and have never been. As an American truck driver, fuel prices controls inflation. Fuel prices control it. No. Fuel prices do not control inflation. The money masters who control the issuance and value of your currency control inflation. As a matter of fact, inflation is the hidden tax. There's a money transfer. There's a power and wealth transfer every time inflation goes up. And they bring inflation up and then they bring it down and they bring it up and they bring it down because they want you to know that they are in control. Gas prices and presidents and governors and policies don't affect inflation. The money masters who control the presidents by the string and the policies that are issued, those are the guys who control inflation. Inflation is the hidden tax. It always has been. It always will be. That's what the Conviviacy 1984 by George Orwell thing was all about. It was simply a money and wealth, a power and wealth transfer. You and I got poorer. The people who were on the insider traders, so to speak, got richer. Look at the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musk of this world. They increased their stash by not just single digit billions, but by tens of billions of dollars. What's Elon Musk supposedly worth? Like $266 billion? Bill Gates got richer. Jeff Bezos got richer. Elon Musk got richer. Warren Buffett got richer. You didn't, because that's what happens when you start messing with this stuff. All your pals at the top, they get to extract all that wealth. And then when it trickles down to you, you're 2x4. You do 2x4 by 8 prices or $7.50 where they used to be $1.98. Nobody's perfect. I'll stand with Trump because he controls our gas. Even if he did control your gas prices, what if he could give you $1 a gallon fuel, but he wants to take away your guns? Are you going to support him? What if he gives you $1.50 fuel, $1.50 diesel, and $1 regular unleaded gasoline, but he wants to give the American police force, he wants to indemnify them. He wants to give them qualified immunity. You still going to support him? I mean, you got to answer from principle, don't you? I understand being economically strapped, but I mean, like, where's the line for you? Yeah, we've all been in some hard spots where we had to make some difficult choices, but hopefully he made the principled one. Look, he was more right than wrong his entire life. Alex Jones was right about a lot of things. And you know what? That makes him more dangerous, in my opinion. You know why? Because more people are going to let their guard down around him. Don't let your guard down around Alex Jones or Donald Trump or me or any of your favorite YouTubers or any of your favorite First Amendment auditors. Always be able to maintain a posture of correction and critical thinking. Always. Always. It will never steer you wrong. Might get you into trouble, but if you're getting into trouble for truth, and I'm not talking about the misapplication of truth, because, there's a time not to say the truth. You're at Thanksgiving dinner. Aunt Sadie's put on 50 pounds in the last year. Probably not a good time to talk about the truth of that right there. I mean, probably a good idea to keep some truth to yourself at certain times. I mean, there's a myriad of different situations we can find ourselves in where we go, yeah, it's probably a good idea to keep my mouth shut on this one right here. Even though if what I'm saying is absolutely true. Aunt Sadie, I bought you a treadmill. Here's a diet book. Get on it. As they're serving the turkey and stuffing. It's probably not a good idea to talk to Aunt Sadie or broadcast it to the family. By the way, Aunt Sadie's a perfect candidate for heart disease. Man, okay. Moving right along. I've heard him call Trump out on many things, says Kaz. He is clear that he doesn't support everything Trump does. And there is the rub. I don't support everything Obama does, but I'm going to vote for him anyway. What does that say about you? See, if you can say this, I don't support everything Trump does. I don't support everything Alex Jones does, but Alex Jones does call Trump out on these things. Yeah, but Alex Jones supports a guy who supports red flag laws. Alex Jones supports a guy who supports devaluing your dollar. Doesn't that matter? And if anybody knows anything about the petrodollar, fractional reserve banking system and the evil that's going on with the centralized banksters, it's Alex Jones. And that makes it worse that he supports Trump because Alex Jones is a guy in the know. He's put out a lot. He was interviewed by Alan Russo. He knows what's going on with the Federal Reserve. And yet he still supports a known Federal Reserve puppet. How do we know Donald Trump is a known Federal Reserve puppet? Before he became president, he was for quantitative tightening. In other words, no money printing. We got to rein it back. We got to make sure that we increase the value of the dollar and the labor and the time of the American tax cattle. Once he became president, he moved away from quantitative tightening and said, heck yeah, we need quantitative easing. Lower the interest rates. Make money cheaper to borrow. No, that's actually not what we need. We need quantitative tightening. They need to stop printing money. They need to stop devaluing your time and labor. Okay. So if you vote for Trump, you can call him out on everything that you want to call him out on. But if you're still supporting him at the end of the day, you still supported Donald Trump, even though you called him out. It's kind of meaningless, huh? And here is where the psychological operators and the social engineers really shine through in this mentality right here. If we don't elect Trump, then who else? We only got two choices, Trump or Biden. Really? We only got two choices, poop soup or turd sandwich. And you got to choose one. You got to shove it down your gullet. Oh, do I really? How about I just not order poop soup or turd sandwich? And how about I turn around and open the door and leave the sewage restaurant? How about that? Why isn't that an option? You can't do that. The world will fall apart if you don't slurp some poop soup or chomp on a turd sandwich. He's the best person out there right now that will give us the most freedom of anyone. I don't like you attacking Trump. He is the best option we have. Is it really attacking Trump when you're attacking the guy who said, I like take the guns first, due process second, who's sitting by Diane Frankenstein? Who would you rather have as a neighbor? Me or Trump? Me or Alex Jones? And I'm not just talking about me. I'm just talking about people who fight for freedom. Somebody who really is for freedom. Somebody who really is against censorship. Somebody who really is for shall not be infringed. I mean, really for shall not be infringed. You can have whatever you want. If you can buy it and you can be honest about it. Somebody who's against the initiation of force and violence against peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. Somebody who wouldn't dare lift a finger against you. Somebody who, when you leave for a weekend vacation with your honey, is going to watch your house and make sure it's not broken in. Because Alex Jones and Donald Trump would not be that neighbor. Because if you practically put in the body of the person what they believe in policy and what they hypocritically spew on the radio show and all that, that's going to be the neighbor who's not only going to not keep your house from being broken into, they're going to be the ones who break into it. I like take the guns first. Donald Trump, if he lived next to you, he'd take your guns first. Due process second. If he got a phone call saying, yeah, I believe that Barney next door is a danger to himself and to others, Trump would get on the phone, call the local police department or sheriff's department and say, hey, you need to just bust in, no knock raid, whatever you got to do. We got to relieve that guy of his guns. And by the way, while you're there, if there's anybody in there, make sure that they get the Jabberino. Because it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, I'm telling you. It's a virtual miracle coming down from heaven, I tell you that right now. And it's fantastic. I got it. Melania got it. Everybody in my family got it, and you should get it too. Yeah, that's who we're talking about here. That's who we're talking about supporting. Talk about giving Edward Borla a raise. If you don't know who Edward Borla is and his company Pfizer, look how much they made in 2021. It was like $100 billion in profit. But I'm telling you, I'm for the American people. All we got to do is indemnify the local and state police departments. We need to give those state troopers better radar capabilities so that they can actually issue more than 41 million speeding tickets per year. That's what we need to do, okay? All right, that's what we're saying here. Now, you need to vote for me, and anybody who speaks against what I'm saying is attacking me, and I expect you to take care of them, unsub their channels, call them out for being, just narcissistic, psychopathic egomaniacs. Anybody who comes against me. By the way, I like civil asset forfeiture. Bashing Alex is fashionable now? The guy has a track record of being about 97% correct. Where do you get that number? And accurate in what he says. Oh, the guy is not perfect. It's not about perfection. It's not about perfection. You don't have to have a perfect glass of water, but you do need a glass of water that's free from all the chemicals that are going to kill you. Stop the red versus blue. It's the people versus them. Amen. I listen to InfoWars daily. He does complain about Trump, but what else do we have to choose from? There's that left versus right false dichotomy again. This was interesting. As for Alex Jones, while most were out there just talking the talk, Alex Jones was out there walking the walk. Does he get everything right? Certainly not. But he's demonstrated his love for liberty and this country over the years by working in the trenches for liberty. And although not perfect, that is it's almost like a straw man. Nobody's perfect is a straw man. It's like this big excuse to continue going for evil. Though he's not perfect, he's a demonstrated patriot. A patriot is not what you want to be. There are a lot of people who are patriotic that have been seriously misled. I mean, a lot of patriots are for the military-industrial complex. You know that? The football game flyovers and the American flag and the rah, 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 zis, boom, bob. As for Trump, his love for his country and reverence for the Constitution is also obvious. I just got to laugh at that. Does Trump get everything right? Again, just like Alex Jones, certainly not. But he has put his time, talent, and fortune on the line in the pursuit of securing liberty for all Americans, civil asset forfeiture, big pharma industrial complex, Operation Warp Speed. No, 6.2 trillion, 8.3 trillion in debt. No, he is not. That is a trampling of all Americans. That is, I don't give a damn about you. I give a damn about my corporate and banking buddies. And although some of his decisions on their face can be controversial, there are those who believe that he's playing the final match of the chess against the deep state, which at times has him sacrificing on an occasional pawn in order to secure checkmate for all the American people. That is QAnon nonsense if I have ever heard it. This QAnon nonsense of, you don't understand it, but the guy who's in the White House right now, he's actually working behind the scenes to vanquish the deep state. I don't even get it, man. I don't get it. You know what the bottom line, you could summarize the message of Q by saying this. There are good guys in government who are about the business of weeding out the bad guys in government. It's a lie. If you want to really do America a favor, tell them about the fiction of government. Tell them that government isn't really even a thing. It's only a perception. That's all it is. Government literally means that agents of government reserve for themselves the right to rule you. And they believe, these government agents believe, you have the obligation to obey their rulership, or if you don't obey, you'll be punished. That's government. Is that true? Do you have the right to rule somebody? Does somebody have the right to rule you? Because if nobody's got the right to rule you, that's what government is. The right to rule. 3 words for government. Right to rule. Does somebody have the right to rule you against your will? The answer is self-evidently, no, they do not. Do you have the right to rule anybody else? No, you do not. Therefore, government, or the right to rule, is fiction. It's a lie. And everything built from that is a lie. All the agencies, all the taxes, all the regulations, all the rules, it's all a lie. I don't understand why people don't understand that. It seems pretty simple to me. And people get on to me, they're like, man, you can't say the governo and mentis thing anymore. You can't use those Latin governo and mentis, govern, ment, because ment could mean something else other than the mind. Okay, let's just go with right to rule. Practically speaking, government is a certain group of people claiming for themselves the right to rule another group of people, which is actually a way bigger group of people than this ruling class. Do you realize how much we outnumber them? Look at there's a video online that's about 10, 11, maybe 12 years old. Maybe it's even older. I don't know. Maybe it's 15 years old, but it's put out by Larkin Rose, and it is called The Tiny Dot. If you want to see how ridiculous government and government rulership and government agents and the concept of government itself is, watch The Tiny Dot. It's like a 7 or 8 minute video, and it really puts things into perspective. It's this whole mass of people that are ruled by this tiny dot of parasitic psychopaths who want you to believe that this arrangement is okay. It's really bonkers. With the whole of American freedom, the hard-won prize. But for those who are those who are used to looking at the political and geopolitical surface of the onion in order to draw their conclusions, they are not likely to see the same things as those who take care to peel back the many layers of the onion in order to find the truth, which, unfortunately, Michael, I hate to say this, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, you haven't done. Because the core of the onion is the idea that a man or a group of men has the right to rule you, and they don't. Trump could have had a comfy existence being, I've heard this so many times. Trump could have had a comfy existence of being fed grapes by his pool at Mar-a-Lago, but instead he has taken on the mosaic of simultaneous battles against the deep state. There's no such thing as a deep state. There's the state and there's the people. And the state hates the people, and the people are submissive to the state until they become awakened. So many, in fact, that it's hard to keep up. He's got tremendous support from the people. He doesn't have to. Wait a second. That's another thing I hate. I can't stand the preamble to the Constitution. We, the people of the United States. Stop speaking for other people. Don't include me in something and then put right after it something that I wouldn't be down with. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. Well, count me out of we the people then, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And like Sanders Spooner said, whether the Constitution be one thing or another, this much is certain. It's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's been powerless to stop it. In either case, it's unfit to exist. I've got people call me a constitutionalist. I'm not a constitutionalist, guys. I'm not a constitutionalist. I am here for freedom. There's a lot of tyranny in the Constitution. And it's written by the pen of people who hated tyranny. And they said a lot of right things, and I quote them. But, and I'm not even, just because they got some good quotes doesn't mean they were good guys. I don't know what kind of guy Benjamin Franklin was, or Samuel Adams, or Thomas Jefferson, but I do know that they said some right things, and those right things are what I will talk about, because those are principled things. As far as them as being hypocrites, they were, and that's not good. And that ruins societies and nations and countries. Not for being perfect, but for being persistent in the cause of freedom. As Trump likes to say, they're the deep state, not coming for me. They're coming for you. I'm just standing in their way. It's a lie. Trump is not only not standing in their way, he's put out the welcome mat for them to continue to do really, really bad things. This person says, respectfully disagree. Jones is imperfect. This right here says, absolutely agree with you about Donnie. I love Donnie, and I'm glad that he has stirred up the Congress swamp. No, he hasn't. He has not. He has not drained this. He has not drained one drop of swamp water from the swamp. Sorry to say. Brian, is Alex dangerous or a flawed man with some of the right answers and some of the wrong ones, like all of us? He is not the glass of water that I want to drink. Like I said, it's not about this being a perfect glass of water, but this glass of water, though imperfect, is absent of some of those things that will do me harm and do you harm. Lost respect for you due to your lack of respect for what Alex has done and does continue to do in support of our children and their future. Alex is 100% a patriot. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Hopefully I've showed you exactly how that's not true without you thinking that I'm attacking Alex Jones. I have love for Alex Jones, but it's always good to question anyone. That's a good one. Dude, please stop picking the low-hanging fruit and waging your personal vendetta war with people who you perceive have wronged you. I think you are better than this. I don't even get it. I don't even get how people could think that it was a personal vendetta that I have against Alex Jones and Trump. If what I said about Alex Jones and Donald Trump isn't in line with the truth, like I've said before, let me know. I enjoy watching citizens fight corrupt police authority, but trashing Alex Jones is the most overdone clickbaiting crap that your audience doesn't want to hear about. Hopefully you understand by now, an hour and 22 minutes into this broadcast, that that's not what it's about. It's about this mentality that's been created that by the unseen powers like the Edward Bernays and the psychopathic social engineers. It goes way deeper than that, but it's kind of simple. It's kind of simple to unravel. I understand your frustration with him, and I'm sure you feel like doing this video is valuable, but it just comes off as childish. If he bothers you so much, block him on every platform you can and let the town square decide for themselves if they want to hear what he has to say. Then let's do that. What about police? Let's just block them. Let's just ignore them. Let's ignore the fact that they're pulling us over and economically terrorizing us and doing us physical harm and ruining our lives. Let's just forget about it and let's just walk away. And he says that goes for everyone spewing nonsense and garbage that offends me too. If they're violating the current law, they should have the right to speak. You don't have to listen. I'd love to see Joy Behar, that's from The View, Joy Behar, banned and not have to see her idiotic liberal lies, but you can't silence people you don't like. If Trump is so bad, Operation Warp Speed, supporting the Federal Reserve, red flag laws. If Trump is it really an if? What are you actually doing about it? Well, that's why I have a channel. That's why I talk to my neighbors. That's why I talk to people everywhere I go. What is your solution to reality? What is your solution to the reality? An honest, sound money system that's not dependent on the central banking scheme. Matter of fact, different kinds of money system, like even cryptocurrency. Don't just have one kind of money system. Have it be, a mix and match of that kind of thing. Uniformity is great, but also recognize Bitcoin and Ethereum and a Cardano and Hex and all that kind of stuff. That's number one. And number two, create a parallel economy that cannot be touched by government regulation. Is it going to be dangerous? Will dangerous things happen, like on the Silk Road and all that? Yes, it absolutely will. But what do you want? Do you want dangerous freedom, or do you want peaceful slavery? Those are the two big things that we can do that would literally change this world. There would be birth pangs in the process, because you start rooting out all this evil. A bunch of other stuff comes up with it, and a bunch of people get hurt in the process. And what do we do with all the Social Security payments, and how is that going to be divvied up? There's going to be some rough road ahead if we're going to change this thing. But man, for starters, can't we have sound money? For starters, can't we realize that the voting system and this whole political process is a scam? Can't we do better? Can't we decentralize America and pull them together if we become attacked or whatever? Like Lincoln was so worried about the Union being disbanded. I'm going to do everything I can to keep the Union together, including killing or leading to slaughter 614,000 troops on both sides of the equation. Well, it wasn't about freeing slaves. It was about Lincoln doing the bidding of his central banking masters and exerting power and control and doing that false flag at Fort Sumter. That's what it was all about. He wanted power. He wanted control. You talk about an egotistical narcissist. Look at tyrant Lincoln. And we have the Lincoln Memorial. And people can't say enough good things about Lincoln. Hey, if the government is heralding somebody and calling them a hero, maybe you should take a look at their background. Maybe you should take a look at what he really did. Maybe you should take a look at the tyranny he really foisted. So yeah, I disagree with that right there too. So you can never make a mistake? You never make a mistake? Give me a break. When you go political, you lose subscribers. Stick to your basics. You guys, take an interest in politics, or politics will surely take an interest in you. Yeah, is it all fiction? Yeah, but it needs to be called out at every corner. Give me a break. When you go political, you lose subscribers. Let's see. That's the same one. I do like Trump. Let's see. This guy says I completely support red flag laws. In other words, I'm completely against the Second Amendment. We have people killing folks everywhere because of mental health. No one who is mentally unstable should have the opportunity to own a gun. But who do you give to define who's mentally stable or not? Who do you give the power to do that? That's the whole issue with red flag laws. I always watch your video, but bringing your personal political views to your platform was disappointing. But was it in line with the lie, or was it in line with the truth? That's my question. I'm a supporter, but I do disagree with some of the things that he's done. He's better than anyone else. That's what they want us to think. He's better than anyone else. He's the best thing we got. We got to vote for him. If you agree full-heartedly with any politician, you're a sheep. Keep in mind, it was his first time as a politician, and Trump had backstabbers he thought were helping him. It's always given the excuse to Trump. Expect it to be much different this next time. Ooh, there probably will be a next time, and things ain't going to be good. Things ain't going to be good. I agree with many views you have, but for someone to think that they are so righteous and judge all Trump supporters as if we're all the same negates most of your preachings. To put all your supporters of whomever in whatever category you want to believe kind of makes you a hypocrite. See, that's the thing with politics. If you call yourself a Republican or a Trump supporter, you've put yourself in your own category. Now, you may not be as ardent of a Trump supporter as your next door neighbor, but you're still a Trump supporter. It doesn't really matter if, the level to which you support him. And it's interesting to me. I mean, when you categorize yourself, if somebody identifies the category that you've placed yourself in, you're not the one who I'm not the one who categorized. You've already categorized yourself. And that's what I hate about the politics thing, the politics game. Is you've tapped into the tribal mentality of team red and team blue, and that's always there. We're We're just naturally tribal, but the social engineers know that. So they tap into this tribal mentality and get us at each other's throats while they do an end round into the end zone. They're the ones scoring the points, not us. They're the ones that are, winning the trophies, not us, because we're too busy fighting among ourselves. Just as social media is used to censor, so it's using our opinions to persuade. Personally, I could care less of who or what people think of Trump, but it sounds like you let your ego reach the level of the thin blue line. I need specifics on that. I think it's a matter of we don't support Trump completely, but it was a much better choice than Hillary or Biden. And there's the evil of the political process. I voted for evil. I chose the best I thought was out there, even though they're playing for the same team. And right after Trump got elected, you remember what he said? Right before he goes, "You should be in jail," to Hillary Clinton. And at that little inauguration address, he led a standing ovation to Hillary Clinton, saying that she was fantastic, or whatever glowing words he had for Hillary and Bill. They're on the same team, guys. They work for the same team owners, getting the same paychecks from them. Hey, Brian, AJ sounded like you're trying to respond to my question on your live stream, dancing and skirting with the mumbling. Voice to Skull. Is Voice to Skull in the room right now? Oh, I don't see him. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Let's see. What's this last one? I agree on the trust for Trump. Frankly, I'm forced to vote. Oh, yeah, here we go. I agree on the trust for Trump. That being said, I think to be fair, you should have mentioned the fact that he publicly stated he cannot support Trump unless Trump came out against the VAXX. He still supports him. Frankly, I'm forced to vote Trump 2024. No, you're not. I'm voting Vivek, that's Ramaswamy, in the primary, but I refuse to sit on my hands and not participate and let Biden or the other brain dead destroy the country permanently. That's what they want. That's right where they want you. What do you suggest? Not trying to sound mean. I genuinely want to know what you suggest. I suggest standing for principle. I suggest withdrawing from the political process while continuing to criticize the political process. And hopefully people will wake up and become self-determined, and they will realize, hey, I am sovereign over myself. I don't need a ruler. I don't need somebody to tell me what to do. I don't buy into this government fiction. We don't need central bankers controlling the issuance and value of our currency. So that's pretty much it. An hour and 30 minutes. That's long enough, man. This got longer than I thought it would be. I thought I could do it in under an hour, but I was wrong. Guys, I appreciate you. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to unsub, but I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I want to speak the truth. If I'm wrong, and I've shown before, I'm correctable. I maintain a posture of correction, but it's got to be, everything you build in life, it's got to be built on principle. You got to be a man or a woman of integrity. Technically I don't own my wallet. I don't own this mouse. I don't technically own this cell phone right here. I don't own this glass of water. Actually, we own nothing. The government could break into your home and take everything you've got right now. You know what you do own, though? You own your principles. You own your integrity. You own your character. You own your reputation. That's all you've got. That's all you've got. And in the face of great adversity, if you hang on to those, then you will do what probably 97% of humanity isn't willing to do. Don't sell out for money or possessions. Don't sell out for popularity and power and prestige. Be a principled person. Be true to thine own self. Be true. Be that person that you would want as a neighbor. Be that person you would want as a father or as a mother or as a brother or as a sister. That person who's always looking out for you, looking out for the other person. Always doing to others what he would want or she would want done to themselves, and not doing to others what they wouldn't want done to themselves. That's all you've got. All this other stuff, it's gone. It's dust. That's why I like that song, Dust in the Wind. All we are is dust in the wind. And when they write something on your tombstone, make sure they don't have to lie. Here lies Sadie Green. She was the best mother. She was the absolute best neighbor. She was always giving and grateful and never complained. And make sure that's true. If your best friend has to do your eulogy, do him a favor and make sure that everything that he says is the truth and he doesn't have to write one lie in there. I have seen so many eulogies for so many people that everybody in the room knew was a bad person, and somebody stands up and gives the eulogy and it's like, that wasn't Uncle Bob. Who the hell is he talking about? Am I in the wrong funeral home? Who's laying in that casket? Uncle Bob was the exact opposite of what this priest is saying right here. It's disgusting. All you got is your reputation. And if you're a good person and they decide to lie on you during the eulogy and they decide to lie on you on your tombstone, make sure that there's somebody in the audience that you actually personally touched. They know, they don't believe, they don't think, they don't feel like you were a good person. They know you were. They know you were principled. They know you were trying to do the right thing and look out for everybody else's freedoms. That's all, guys. At the end of the day, that's it. I don't care how accomplished you are, how many dollar bills and Benjamins you got in your bank account, or the car you drive, or the big house, or the shiny bling blings. It doesn't matter. It never will matter. It never has mattered. King Tutankhamun, how rich were you at such a young age? I don't care. What kind of person were you? Did you vanquish lordship in your region in Egypt? That's what I want to read about. How good of a person Tutankhamun was, not how many jars of honey they buried with him. Think about all the food they wasted burying it with a dead man, a dead boy. There's jars of honey. There's flax of wheat. There's just all this tons and tons of food that could have gone to, I don't know. Is anything I'm saying making sense? Put a 1 in the room. All right. I said I was going to read the super chats. Let me find out how to open that. I'm reading the super chats now. I'm done with my diatribe, if that's what you want to call it. Let's see. How do I get to that? What the heck? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Because I don't want to leave anybody out of the super chats. All right. Oh, man. Chuck Bronson became a member? What the flip? You know what? I'm giving Chuck Bronson a shout out. That guy has massive... Okay. I'm so glad Chuck's here. Chuck, are you still in the room? Is Chuck Bronson still here? Chuck, put a 1 if you are. At Chuck Bronson. I'm going to say something about this Chuck Bronson character. Chuck Bronson. Who does he think he is? Chuck Bronson. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me see. Chuck Bronson. Look, I'm subscribed. I have the bell notifications pushed anytime that Chuck Bronson is out there. You want to talk about somebody who is in your corner with regard to calling out the evil, the downright evil of cops. You want to talk about somebody who's got not only a short fuse, but no fuse for badged law enforcement tyrants. And that's Chuck Bronson. If you are not subscribed to Chuck Bronson, you should be subscribed to Chuck Bronson. I am so surprised that he doesn't have at least 250,000 followers. And what I'm going to do is, let me see. Let's go to his most popular video. You got to see this video right here. He does a bait car thing where he sets up these cops, and he does a masterful job at it. Here's Chuck Bronson's. Oops, what did I just do? Did I just click myself offline? No way. Oh, yeah. Chuck walks it, not just talks it. Yeah, I agree. And, I'm not here saying that you should be like Chuck Bronson, because everybody's got to be, you got to be like yourself. Okay. What works for Chuck ain't going to work for everybody. This ain't my angle. I would probably be a little nicer, but I get so much, and I'm not saying that I would be, that's me being better than Chuck. I think he's the best at what he does on here. When he cusses out these cops, he has no tolerance for it. He's got the F the cop shirt while they're pulling him over and like giving them no slack. It's like, I'm not even going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. I'm going to do it myself with my own hands. So I want to point that out is in the 1A community, whatever you want to call it. People have gotten, stop calling it the 1A community, whatever you call us, freedom fighters. Everybody's got their own gift. Some people can, they're super articulate. They're friendly. Some people are more down the hard line. Chuck Bronson's like, yeah, just give it to him. And you learn from every single, it's like that great American melting pot idea. And everybody comes at this a different way. But at the end of the day, we are for freedom. We're for cops getting off of our backs. We're for leaving our children a better world than we found it. And this is just one of those examples with Chuck Bronson. And so, Chuck, I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you very much. That's super humbling. So here are the super chats. Mark Matera with the super chat says, peace is not profitable. If you want world peace, you must first abolish capitalism. If you want peace, yeah, I disagree with that, Mark. I disagree with that. People vilify capitalism. You know what capitalism is? And I'm a real simple kind of guy. Let's see. Hate to keep using the glass. Okay, so, all right, I got this thing. This is like a little cigarette lighter thing that has a light on it. It's a cigarette lighter thing. You can charge your phone and you can break the glass and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's capitalism. Capitalism is, I got this little cigarette lighter, flashlight, seatbelt cutter type thing. And I got a bunch of these and I could use something else. I don't have anything to write with. I think I'll buy a pen. So capitalism is this person voluntarily enters into some kind of business transaction with this person. This person voluntarily enters into a business transaction with this person and they make a trade. I want your pen. You want my cigarette lighter adapter thing. And that is the essence of capitalism. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. Nobody's regulating the pen to make it more expensive. So you got to have 5 of these to buy one of those. It's an agreement between two parties. You've got a bookshelf that I want to buy, and I've got a whole bunch of books that I want to put on it, but I've got a surplus of books. Why don't I give you like 50 of my books and you give me the bookshelf and I'll put my books on the rest? Okay, that's capitalism. When it gets corrupt is like corporatism. When you have corporations can only exist through government. So you have these government, forming monopoly type things. And then you got regulations and then they bump out competition, which by the way, that's something the government is good at. They're good at eliminating competition. Well, that's what corporations do. They start eliminating the competition. So I agree with you. I disagree with you that world peace comes by abolishing capitalism. Capitalism in and of itself is just mutual trade, one person to another in a voluntary arrangement. That's all it is. Corporatism has all the strings attached, all the bells and whistles of regulations and rules and strong arming people into, oblivion, basically. So I hear people vilifying capitalism. Capitalism is not it's not evil and it's not good. It's capitalism. It's engaging in mutually beneficial, voluntary business transaction. That's it. Yeah, right. The Matrix does a super chat and says the ones that unsubscribe need leaders. They have no guidance, morals, or principles. I hope that's not true. I hope that I want to have a positive impact on you. And I'm sure that that's how you view life. Whether you have a platform or not, you want to go out in the highways and byways of life and socialize with people. And you want to have a positive influence on other people. The sad reality of life is that there's some people that, you've got to be discriminating. You've got to be discriminatory because you don't want to hang around people who have bad reputations and do bad things to good people. You wouldn't hang around them. Though that's just who they are, and that's not who I'm going to associate with. Would I rather they change? Yeah, but I guess they're going to have to change without me. I'll try to speak into their lives as much as I can, but I'm not going to hang around them. So there's discrimination involved. And for people to say that discrimination in and of itself is inherently evil, I disagree. So that's Mark, Chuck Bronson. Yeah, right. The Matrix. Hey, what's up? Shy, what's up? Became a member. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. PNW Transparency became a member. PNW Transparency. Shy, do you have a channel? Let's see. PNW Transparency. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the guy who I either thought about doing a video on him or I did a video on him, but I think PNW Transparency is the guy that said, "Get your hand off your gun" when the cops showed up. I think that's him. Let me see. Popular. I'm going to watch a couple of your videos. Yeah, this is it. That's the one right there. Get your hand off your gun. That's it right there. Yeah, if you haven't seen this video.
Okay.
I like PNW. Matter of fact, I think I left a comment under this video. Usually goes to the top. YouTube does a good job erasing comments. Yeah. Let's see. Here's PNW Transparency. This is this video. Get your hand off your gun. This was actually really good. He was minding his own business outside of this dealership right here. And I really like, if I remember right, I like PNW Transparency's approach. Good stuff. Use Israel in a sentence. I just did. Steve Harola from Hawaii. Aloha, brother. Thank you for becoming a member. Oh, he's a channel member for 14 months. So PNW Transparency is a new member. Thanks, guys, for becoming a member. It's $2.99 a month. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to create members-only content. Until then, if I have breath in my lungs, I'm going to be putting out at least one video a day. So much love and aloha, everybody. Hit the like button, Steve says. Vegas VIPs, what's up, man? With the $2 super chat, thanks. Oh my God, you have a Trump impression. Yeah, it's not very good though. It's not very good. But I appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Rights On, member for 7 months. Overturn Terry v. Ohio, a frickin' men. Terry v. Ohio, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. Terry v. Ohio is the case that brought into being RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion, back in 1967. And yeah, it definitely needs to be overturned. Like there's a gazillion Supreme Court cases that trample our rights that need to be overturned. By the way, if you want me to do a video, a response video or a reaction video on PNW Transparency, let me know in the comments. I don't even know if PNW Transparency is still in the room. I don't see it. Okay. Conasse, Conasse, says Ryan Dawson is a real researcher and you'll actually learn something from him, unlike Alex Jones' vagaries. Yeah, I've been following Ryan. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me. And I've been following Ryan for a long time. I've shared a lot of his stuff. He is a researcher extraordinaire. Absolutely is. Oh, somebody's gonna screenshot this and say that I'm part of Illuminati. Oh man, you just can't win around here. You just can't win. Yes, Leroy Truth Investigations. There's another guy. Leroy Truth Investigations. Leroy's doing some fantastic stuff over there on the Eastern Seaboard. Check out Leroy Truth Investigations. Thanks for being a member, Leroy. That means a lot. There's a link to Leroy's channel. What's up, Gray Dude? Gray Dude, always leave in the comments. Jeff Hates Pigs is here. Oh, anyway, yeah, Kane says Ryan Dawson's a real researcher. Yeah, he does good stuff. He is heavily censored too. Yeah, Channel 3, if you can stop spamming that, I'd really appreciate it. I don't like the, cut and paste things. Joshua, you says the key word is crime. What are the elements of a crime? Yeah, that's actually joshing you. That's a good question. What is a crime? I'll leave with that. I'll leave with that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, guys, and share this video if you like it. Doggone it. I am such a blabbermouth. Crime. What is a crime? A crime means that you have literally harmed somebody. A man or woman has harmed another man or woman. Or, an animal. You can commit a crime against an animal too. Like if you treat an animal the way you wouldn't want to be treated, you're committing a crime against that animal. You've left a victim. The victim has to be some kind of sentient being, okay? So you've stolen from them, you've damaged their property and you refuse to pay for it, you refuse to make restitution, you harmed them physically, you defrauded them, you sold a car to them that you knew was a lemon, but you passed it off as something that was a good vehicle. That is harm. That is a crime. A crime cannot have been committed if there is no victim. And more importantly, the state, the government, can never be the victim. They're too busy being victimizers. So that's it for this. When I speak out against Trump or Alex Jones, it's not because I feel like, I've got a high horse and I'm looking down on everybody and I'm egotistical or narcissistic. Could that be? And I'm just deceiving myself? Of course. So if it is, lay into me. Give me the truth. Hopefully we all maintain a posture of correction and our goal is freedom. Our goal is love. Our goal is unity based on truth. Our goal is just being a fundamentally good person, a principled person. I'm telling you, if you become a principled person, if you get your mind off of all the garbage that's trying to influence and infect your brain, you will change the frickin' world. If it is to be, it's up to me. But you got to change. We all got to change. We're on a journey. We got a lot of changing to do. I know I do. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you for supporting. All you people who left, hopefully you'll see this video, come back and ask and explain why you left, and maybe give all I'm saying is give truth a chance. All we are saying is give truth a chance. And with that, I leave you. Thank you guys for the support. I will see you in the next heavily censored Shadowban live stream. I'll leave the chat open for 10 minutes if you guys want to hang out.